G'day, Heath here from PickinLessons.com. St Anne's Reel. This is a great tune, a really popular session tune. We're in the key of D, we're capoed up at fret 2, playing out of the C position here on the guitar. In a moment, we're going to take a look at part A of the arrangement here in this video, but if you head over to PickinLessons.com, you can grab yourself a copy of the tablature for this arrangement in the member section there. We'll also break down the lesson for part B, and you'll have some play along and backing tracks there once you get to know the tune as well. Now, this arrangement is more basic perhaps than some others, and there's two other versions you can find at PickinLessons.com that are a little bit more advanced. Now, this is a more basic version of the tune, but it's still quite a challenge to pick. So we'll break it down and we'll have a look at what we need to work on. But firstly, make sure you get that capo on fret 2 there. And we are really playing out a C, and if you have a look at the chord positions there, you can see we've got the C, the F, and the G. Yeah, so C shapes, capoed up to 2 in the key of D. It's very scaly, but it moves around a lot, and that's one of the challenges. We've got to start up on the first and second strings, but then we cover the territory all the way back down to string 5 again, and so we've got a bit of movement, a bit of string skipping we need to work on. There's a bunch of slurs throughout, which will help a little bit for the right hand, but really there is an awful lot of picking. One of the things with this arrangement and this nice basic way of playing it is that we have kind of a busy bar rhythmically and then a bit more cruisier bar following that, and that pretty much follows all the way through the tune. Just an example of that, once we pick up the tune, there's that first bar, but then the second bar, our rhythm structure changes to the quarter note. So we kind of have this eighth note passage, quarter note passage from bar to bar. So in one way, that will make it a bit more approachable, but still it is a challenge with all this extra technique and movement that we need to work on. Let's just break it down slowly. So from the pickup, we're going to count it in 4 beats to the measure when we're learning it. So our 4th beat count in is where we start. 1, 2, 3, 4 for that pickup note. As we move through the first bar, we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now, of course, our right hand, we really want to make sure that we're following this alternating 8th note structure. So if it's a downbeat note, we pick it as a down. If it's an offbeat note, we pick it as an up. Doesn't matter the order of those in terms of, we might have 2 downs in a row or 2 ups in a row if it was more syncopated, but it's more to do with the rhythm. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Yeah, do keep an eye on that. Down, down, hammer, down, up, down, up. So notice that hammer on, we move our hand back up, ready to pick down again. So that basic technique is really important. Just try that first bar again. 3, 4. So you really get this consistent right hand movement throughout the tune. As we hit the second measure, we basically form the C chord, and we want to just roll through that with quarter notes on our downstrokes. And so that sort of rhythm change where it does slow down because of the quarters balanced out with the 8th. Let's put the 2 bars together. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, downstrokes on those quarter notes. And so something we can do is, as we come through that second measure, is form that C shape, and that kind of works pretty nicely. So we can get this C chord there as we come through, and then of course we'll change our fingers as needed. So as we hit this second bar, and we're going to get a similar thing there towards the end. So over the F chord, bearing in mind, learn the chords as you go, yeah, so you can play the rhythm guitar behind when needed. So we have the F there starting on that 2nd fret, and again a slightly busier bar with those 8th notes. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and down, down, up, down, up, down, up, remembering the picking structure following the 8th note breakdown. And as we hit the 4th measure along, writing down the quarter notes there on the C shape. 1, 2, 3, hammer will get us through as we go on to the next measure, which we do have a bit of a repeat. So we'll come back through this in a moment. As we're learning this, as I mentioned, we're counting in 4 beats to the bar, but once you do get up to tempo, you tend to want to feel it in cut time. So cut time is 2 beats to the bar, so something like this. So So 2 pulses, just like the bass would play, yeah, in this style of music. In the second half here for this A section, it does start out in the same way, but as we hit this 7th measure along, chord progression changes, F, G and C, and our turnaround here. And then we hit the repeat. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So there's a nice amount of hammer-ons in this tune just to help out a little bit for our picking as well. So this has a little bit more space towards the end, so keep that. So keep an ear out for that. So that's the 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Yeah, so a nice amount of space through that rhythm structure. Again, keeping in mind what the right hand's doing, down on the pulse, up when it's on the offbeat. There's no alternate ending on this one, so we just play this twice, and once we go to part B, we just play the same A again. Let's have a go from the start. We'll play with that pickup note, and we'll just go through once. From the beginning, 2, 3, pick up. C shape. Run that twice, and then you've got part A for this tune. It's such a beautiful melody. It's a great session tune, very popular one. That first finger can pretty much be left there a lot of the time on that C note. Something that can happen is that B can start to make some noise on its own, sympathetic ringing. You kind of don't want that. So if you leave your first finger down where you can play the melody around it most of the time. So that is an idea you can use. If you're hearing that B string starting to make some noise, certainly just leave that first finger down where possible. Yeah, learn the chord progression. Make sure you know the chord progression so that you're okay to back up the tune as well. Yeah, make sure you get that backup idea going so you know that chord progression. Get to know the melody though. Take it slow. It can be played at different tempos, and have a listen, do some listening research to hear that it's been played in different ways, tempo-wise. It's pretty challenging still when it's up to speed, even though this is a basic version, but if you do want to play it a bit slower, that's okay too. Get to know this part A section, but pickinlessons.com, you can grab this full arrangement of the tablature, and in the member section there, we'll continue this lesson, we'll break down part B, and we'll have a look at how to approach the melody for that section. You'll also have a play along and backing track there once you do get to know it. So pickinlessons.com, I'll see you there.